Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8. I'm Rob.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Andi.
And this is Everybody in the Conference Room. That's right. Did you just almost say everyone in the conference room?
I think I did slur to everyone.
You were like,
hey, everyone, everybody. We're saying this all at once.
Just all the people in the
conference room.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, welcome to episode 8. Tonight we're going to break down season 2, episode 2, sexual harassment.
Harassment.
Ow.
Do you know anybody who legitimately says harassment?
No, because that's not how you say it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Think so.
I was trolling you to see if
Maybe
you'd
it's
bite,
gonna
but
be
you guys were
me
really
now.
polite about it. So.
Yeah, that's not how you say it.
You're going to make fun of me later. Hey, number one, make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. That way you can make sure you get the episode as soon as it drops. Make sure you leave us a review. And if you leave us a 5-star, we will read it live on the air, which we're going to read one tonight. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. And check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/unofficepod. Just for $3 a month gets you access to exclusive content. The After Party at Poor Richard's, which tonight... I think it was last week, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, we teased a story about me and medieval times and...
It's a great story.
Long Island iced tea.
Yes, a 32-ounce
very
Long Island iced
The
tea.
longest of iced teas.
So, yeah, the longest of Long Island. That's excellent. That's so good. Oh, dang it. So we shared that story on Patreon tonight. So take a listen to that. $3 a month gets you access to that. And, hey, tonight's episode, sponsored by one of our assistants to the regional manager.
Who is it?
Saf Pillmore, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Thank you for supporting the show. Sponsored by her tonight. Now, like I said, we will read your review. If you leave us a 5-star on iTunes, we'll read it live on the air. But tonight, a little something special. We're going to read a 4-star review.
Oh.
Because this person gave us some feedback that I think was very helpful.
Okay.
And
It did
we're
help.
not opposed to some of that good feedback. You should always crave that stuff. There's no comedy there. That's just life wisdom. So anyways, this came from a user, and their name that they put on the review was DNSNFMZMEMD,
What?
Yeah, there's no way to pronounce that.
which
That's
I can
a
only
lot of
assume
letters.
was an abbreviation for the name Dennis Nifmezmi, who
Yeah.
is also a doctor, MD.
Sure.
Yeah,
Dr.
you could
Dennis
extrapolate that from that.
Masfendemismis.
I tried to Google Dennis Nifmezmi, MD, and there was no one. So that's okay, though.
He's a
But
fake
Dennis,
person. He's a fake forgiver.
he's a doctor, so we're going to take him seriously.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, he's got his doctorate.
I believe you.
So Dennis wrote this. This is what he said. Dennis gave us a 4-star. This is some good stuff. He said, "This is a good and fun podcast if you're a fan of The Office. The 3 co-hosts are great. I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends talking about The Office. So
that's
good."
really
We
good.
are your friend, Dr. Decaloni.
Oh my god! Now here's where he breaks it down. He says, "I had to give it 4 stars because this podcast is for someone who has seen The Office a lot," in all caps.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, probably.
And then in parentheses it says, "which I have, so it's no biggie for me." But
Sweet.
if you're new to the show and you're listening and watching for the first time, there's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Guilty.
He says, "Be
Sorry.
advised, I will continue to listen and support." And
Okay, here's the truth, though. We do have a lot of people in our lives, or a handful of people in our lives who have never seen The Office, listen to our podcast, enjoy The Office more because of it.
that is true. But I will say, when we read this review, we took a long look around the table and said, we should be a little bit careful.
Yeah, we got more
We
careful.
don't want to
we?
give too. Yeah, we don't. Do
Oh,
we?
yikes. I'll be more
Andy
careful.
didn't.
We don't want to give too much away into
Okay.
future episodes. And
Yes.
so, Dennis Nefmezmi, MD, we appreciate your
Thank
feedback.
you.
That's like good
Thanks,
stuff.
Doc.
So there you go.
Thank you, Doc.
that's
An
right.
apple day keep the doctor away, you know?
What?
I don't know where that came from.
No, it was good. That was good. That was excellent. So tonight we're going to break down season 2, episode 2, sexual harassment. We're also going to. I'm going to propose.
I don't
prank.
know why I keep cheering on sexual
I know she's like a big fan of
I'm
sexual
like,
harassment.
I'm
over
a
here.
Man,
proponent
sexual
of it right
harassment
now.
is great.
Yikes.
You say the word sexual harassment, and she's like,
And
"Yes,
I'm
please."
Like, yeah. Cheering section over here.
You can't see this, but she has pom poms. It's weird.
I
Oh, it's so
I just
weird.
did a backflip too.
She's wearing like a cheerleader uniform and it has an S on it for sexual harassment. It's weird.
Oh, weird.
It's really
Oh,
weird.
you haven't
Adam.
seen the H? It's on the bottom.
Okay. Oh my. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second and stew. Okay. Anyways, let
So
you get that
all
mental
our
picture.
listeners catch up with it.
Yeah,
catch
exactly.
up with it.
Exactly. So we're gonna break down season 2, episode 2, sexual harassment. We're also gonna talk about I'm gonna propose a prank. You guys can shut it down. You can shoot it down hardcore, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm just gonna. She's already cocking the gun.
Pow.
I'm gonna throw it out there, and we'll see what happens.
She's still holding the gun.
Also, she's aiming it at me. And also, we're going to take a trip over to the Dunder Mifflin subreddit, and Adam Jones is going to bring some fire.
Oh, that's another
From
one.
under our... Just kidding.
I don't know what.
Just,
Never mind.
Okay.
Bad username. Goodbye.
oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Oh,
He's going to bring us some good content from over at the Dunder Mifflin subreddit, and we're going to give them some silver and award them a Dundie. Now, before we jump in, this week, something magical happened, Adam Jones.
Okay.
God ordained, some would say.
Maybe divine.
Intervention.
Yes. So we show up to the office
Oh, I remember this moment.
on
I captured
Sunday.
it.
Should I break the seal and tell people where we
Nope.
work, or should we just keep saying that
keep
it's
'em-
an office?
keep 'em
Yeah,
guessing.
it's
Okay,
an
cool.
office.
Keep them guessing.
So we both show up to the office on Sunday, and it just so happens, Adam Jones and I, as far as our jeans and our shoes, we kind of have a similar style.
Similar taste, yeah.
We like those good jeans and those like nice boots and all that good stuff.
Skinny jeans, hipster boots.
That's a
There
good
we
way to
go.
put it. Sure. We're both on stage at times. This
They're
this
very
day
famous.
we actually happen to both be on stage together multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah, switching, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Somehow, some way, we're both wearing the exact same shirt.
And by exact, I mean the same size, too.
Same
No
shirt,
way.
same size, bought at the same store on the same week without each other knowing.
Yeah.
No way.
Actually, no, I got to break it. I didn't buy it that week.
Oh, you
I
did.
bought it like a month ago.
Oh, dang. Okay.
But
But
still.
he kept it under wraps.
I think I've worn it maybe once before.
We didn't notice.
Okay, but no, that to me, that's even crazier that you bought it that long ago. But the first day that I can visually remember you wearing it is this day that I buy
The
mine
day
and decide to wear it.
both wear it.
So we both show up to the office, and we're
Yeah.
both wearing a navy blue button-up with tiny parrots on it.
Parrots on it.
Yeah. It's a very, very fancy shirt.
You saw it at first. I didn't notice when you came in.
Oh, it was beautiful.
I was
So-
there
and
a
then we
little
just got
bit
to be
before.
on stage. Like, we were
Twinning.
twinsies. There's a picture on Instagram. If you're listening to this, go to our Instagram. We're on Instagram at An Office Pod. You will see a photo of
Twinning.
Adam Jones
here's
and I
the funny
twinning at
thing.
hardcore.
Rob totally could have called me and said, "Hey, I'm twinning with Adam. Bring me another shirt."
No way.
And he didn't. And when I asked him, I'm like, "Hey, you should have just let me know. I could have brought you another shirt." He was like, "No." Like very offended that I would even offer that he wouldn't look like Adam. Like it was his proudest moment
Rob
to
wants
be a
to look
twin
like
with
me.
Adam.
I feel like it's one of those things. It's one of those moments where, like, don't fight it.
Just, I guess.
Like, all the planets and
happens.
stars,
They
everything
aligned.
aligned perfectly to this one moment.
Sadie Hawkins.
Here's the thing. Think about all the different small steps that not only brought us from California and Wisconsin to this exact place at the same time
We're wearing the
to
same
work
shirt.
together, but we also showed up wearing the exact same shirt.
He was so proud, folks.
It's fate.
so proud. I had to
fate.
take a
You
picture.
can't deny it.
Even prouder, we had to post it online.
Yeah, it's a good photo.
So check that out. That's on Instagram. How many people came up to you and were like, "Did you guys call each
Oh,
other?"
I
Like-
did. And then people were reminding me to talk about it when I was on stage, and I did. And then people loved it.
If I had a
like
quarter for every time I had somebody who was like, "Did you guys plan it? Did you guys call each other?"
Did you guys call? Was that intentional? Somebody behind me, was saying that. Yeah. Like, hey, was that intentional? No, it wasn't intentional.
Of course, it was intentional.
I eventually
Of
was
course, we
just
planned
like,
it for a month now.
I eventually was just telling people like, "Oh yeah, this is like a cool new uniform, like that we're trying to
Yeah, it's standard
see
across
if it works."
the
Let's see if it
organization.
works.
Yeah.
So
Next week, Andy's gonna have her own parrot shirt.
there you go. It's just parrot shirts. Everybody
guys
wearing
wish.
parrot shirts. So, anyways, check that out on Instagram and like it. It'll make us feel better because it was incredibly embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys ready to jump into this episode?
Yes.
I
We
believe you.
sound incredibly enthusiastic.
Here's the deal. You were
Let's jump.
more excited and more enthusiastic about sexual harassment than jumping into this episode, so be careful.
Oh,
Anyways,
no.
Oh, that's true.
all right, so here we go. So in this episode, Packer needs a ride. Jim can't wait to meet Pam's mom. Dwight needs an anatomy lesson. And Michael wants to take a bath with Pam.
Oh, boy.
Who doesn't?
This is Sexual Harassment, Season 2, Episode 2 of The Office. You're rubbing your hands together in anticipation of sexual harassment.
Oh, give me that sexual harassment.
Can't wait for some of that sexual harassment. Here we go. All right, so the episode opens, and we see Jim at his desk. He's working away. Okay, it looks like he's
Always.
engrossed. He's dedicated, doing what he needs to do. And Michael walks out and just asks, he wants to know, hey, have you checked your email? There's probably some important emails.
Checked your email recently?
Did you see some emails come in? Did you have a...
Oh, check your spam.
Yeah, maybe you
Of
should
course,
check your...
because all the important ones go straight to spam.
Well, here's what's interesting is... Does that mean that Jim has a thing set up so that anytime that Michael forwards him something, it goes directly to spam?
I think so. I think that's what they're trying to insinuate.
That's awesome. And then Jim finds it. There it is. 50 signs that your priest might be Michael Jackson. Holy crap.
It's a lot of things wrong with
Is this one of those episodes that probably... I saw an article recently where Steve Carell was like, hey, I don't know if The Office would work in today's sort of like political,
Oh, for sure.
it would
Would
social
not.
justice
Absolutely
climate.
not.
Nope.
Is this one episode that like totally rams
Oh,
it home,
absolutely.
pun intended?
Absolutely
Yes.
would not. This would not air in 2019.
Right.
No
Oh
way.
my gosh. So Michael is in his office. He's sitting at his desk and he's saying, hey, I consider myself the king of forwards. Mm-hmm. It's how I like to do business. We like to laugh it up. Dwight is at his desk. He's obviously got some sort of monkey sex video going he's showing.
He Googled that. Like, he's trying to, like, find a forward to share with Michael.
Monkey sex video.
Yeah. He's
what I
like,
love-
this will be good.
What I love in this scene is that it's super generic because when they're like showing videos and stuff, I remember the comment specifically. It's like, and the monkey does the sex thing right here. And it's like,
Oh,
it's not
gosh.
describing, it's the monkey does the sex thing. Right? Who talks like that?
Oh my gosh. Well, and it's he so much wants Michael's approval.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like if he can get Michael to agree to forward it on, that he's like reached some sort
He's
of like
won an award.
exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. And so this is when and Michael's actually not so sure that he'll forward it. He's like, yeah, I'll think about it. But this is where we get the first physical appearance of Mr. Todd Packer.
Hi there, Todd Packer.
Even though we
In all
figured
his
out when we
glory.
rewatched this that Todd Packer's on the phone in season 1,
yeah.
episode
Yes.
1.
Right.
For brief.
Godzilla-ry.
Yes. Does the drapes match the carpet?
carpet match
Yeah, yes.
That's it.
You know what? Actually, I think
Interior designer over here.
I know, for real. He just wants to know. I mean,
does it?
Yeah. And you know what? I think in previous episodes, I've accidentally been calling him Todd Packard, like Hewlett Packard. So I apologize, everybody. I know people were totally worried about that.
Oh,
so
no.
official apology
Rest
here.
easy. He figured it out, folks.
Like my favorite sports team.
There you go.
Packers.
Todd Packers.
Cheesehead.
How does that feel? That has to suck.
Sure. It's fine by me.
So Todd Packer shows up. He makes a great first impression. He bullies Michael. He calls Jim gay.
I just want to say there's a few lines in this episode, too, specifically, that I remember that me and my friends still use with each other from back where I grew up. And one of them is, "What's up, helper? Still queer?"
Oh my god.
I love that one. So
Bye,
good.
Queen.
Bye, Queen.
Oh my gosh, is so bad. But this is where I think we talked about this in a previous episode where we kind of were like, what is the backstory with Michael and Todd?
Right.
And we get a little bit of it here where Michael is saying, we came up together as salesmen. Okay, Michael's been promoted to regional manager. Packer is still, I'm assuming, like
What does Packer do? Why is he just hanging out at an office that he doesn't work
He's a
at?
traveling
What's his
salesman.
role?
Yeah,
He
that's
does
what
what
I
he
said.
wants.
Oh, truly?
yeah,
He
I
is
think
a
so.
tra-
Yeah.
he is a
okay,
traveling
there you go.
salesman.
He,
Yeah.
Just
he
barely
travels around and
connected
makes the calls.
Okay, so he can stop and hang out whenever he wants, for
Yeah,
real.
he pops
Sure.
into
Okay.
Scranton when he's ready to.
His office is the car.
That's right. His office is wherever he lays his head at night. Mm-hmm. Speaking of laying his head at night, we get an awesome story from Michael about a time where they went out together, pretended to be brothers,
Yep.
met some twins, took them back to the hotel room,
And Packer.
and Packer did them both.
Totally banged them both.
All
It
right.
was awesome.
Bros.
Michael thinks it's so cool that Packer did them both.
Michael thinks it's so cool that he was there.
Yeah.
That's my question that I cringe a little when I hear that story and he's talking about how awesome it was. Do you think Michael was in the room?
No,
I
hope
imagine
he
like
ran.
Packer saying
He
like
didn't.
he goes to the bathroom and like Michael puts himself in the bathroom and I imagine but Michael's putting his ear to the door.
would.
You know?
And he sleeps, he
but he's
sleeps in
thinking
the bathtub.
But he's thinking it's great. He's
Oh
like,
my gosh, I can't believe this.
yeah, he thinks it's like the best thing ever.
I would just
He's the
run.
worst. He's the
Yeah.
worst. So Michael and Todd are kind of hanging out. They're chumming it up, and Michael decides he wants to share some juicy gossip with Packer. And he's gossiping about the CFO of Dunder Mifflin resigning. And Packer's like, you don't know? everybody knows. And then we have a clip here because Packer has all the juicy details and then some. And we get a great idea of who Packer is. Here we go. Check this out.
You don't know? Oh, okay, check this out. All right. So here's the story.
Yeah?
So Randall is nailing his secretary, right? And she's
Classy.
totally incompetent.
Really? Here we go. Buckle up and go to be a bumpy one.
We're talking blonde incompetent,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like
Angela's right over there.
talking.
Well, to be fair, blondes, brunettes, there are a lot of dumb people out there.
Right, they are women, right?
Oh! I didn't say it.
Oh my gosh.
What
And
I
nobody
love,
threw something at him.
I mean, this is the funny thing is that I do remember back in the day, blonde jokes were funny. Why we ever thought they were funny, but blonde, do you
Sure,
guys
yeah, like in the
remember?
90s.
Yeah, like in the 90s.
Are
That's
you
what I'm
allowed
saying.
to say that right now, Adam?
I'll probably get banned on social media for hate speech or something.
Did we just lose our clean rating?
Yeah, right. But then, and jokes about. I mean, it's just classic. I feel
I
like
love
this
that he
is this
throws in
truly
brunettes.
is.
He's like, brunettes are equally as dumb.
Yeah,
And he
they're
is-
women, right?
Yeah, oh, man.
But this is going on almost, not quite, almost 20 years ago. Not quite, but
That's
almost.
crazy.
Yeah.
When
Isn't
you think
it?
about how long ago that was.
That's crazy.
Insane. It was a different climate back then.
Different climate, yeah.
So then I think Jim says what everybody is feeling. We get a little shot of Jim. He's super enthusiastic. What has 2 thumbs and hates Todd Packer? This guy. His face right after he delivers the punchline is so classic. It's just deadpan. He's like, "Get me out of here."
Oh yeah.
I love it. So then Packer basically he's ready to make a sales call, but he needs a ride because of the whole DUI situation. And so Ryan gets called up to be his driver, and it's at this moment when Ryan and Packer are walking out, and you just see the love in Michael's eyes, and he's like, "Packer, guy can do anything."
He adores him, except for drive.
Except
And
press,
not as much as Ryan, though.
except past
that
the
was probably his
breathalyzer.
dream team.
Yes,
Oh yeah, he's seen his 2 loves walk
Yeah.
out the door together.
he
Absolutely.
loves them both.
Oh, it's so good. And then as Packer passes Ryan the keys, we get a shot of Packer's license plate, and we get that awesome question: "Are you a big William Hung fan?"
So, can I confess something?
You are.
I watched this
that
with
is
my
your
wife
license as
with
well.
my wife tonight, and I turned to her and I paused and I said, "I still don't get what joke they're trying to make here."
Oh,
I don't know why,
gosh.
and I've seen this episode so many times.
So the license plate says WL
Uh-huh.
HUNG. So WL Hung.
Yep.
Hey, are you a big William Hung fan? But you didn't.
I didn't. I really, and it makes me sound so stupid, but I just didn't get what they were trying to connect with. And she goes, "It's well hung," and I'm like, "Oh,
Todd Packer.
And of course it clicks, and I'm like, this makes sense because that's who Todd Packer would. That's what he would
That
want.
is his car.
But I just didn't get the joke they were trying to make, and now
That's
that, and
funny.
now,
Oh,
and
that's
I just
They
excellent.
just
so
needed
I feel
to
bad.
draw our eye there.
It's just it's your baby. It's your baby mind. We
My
sullied
baby-
you.
Sorry.
Sure, yeah,
I'm sorry.
go on.
Sorry, Adam.
I feel like I should have picked up on it before, but I just that split moment.
And
I
that
just never
is
did.
sexual harassment.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Welcome to the jungle. So then we get a shot of Jim and Pam together, and they're having a little snack break, and Jim is expressing how he's excited to meet Pam's mom. And Pam is expressing how much she loves her mom and all that stuff. But one of the things that's interesting here is Jim is making a joke, and he's like, "I can't wait to ask her, just ask her all kinds of questions about you. Like, did Pam show signs of her future career as a receptionist?"
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, what could she have done as a child that would have gave a sign that she was going to be a
Hey,
receptionist?
I had a little sister that used to walk around in restaurants with a fake pen and fake notepad and take people's orders. She grew up and became a waitress.
There you go.
Wow, that's it.
There you go.
So there you go.
Do you think she was just like answering the
Answering
phone
the
at
phone,
home,
setting up appointments.
just setting up appointments,
Just
making copies?
yeah.
Yeah, making copies
At like 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Playing free cell.
Jim's trying to be cool, Jim.
There you go.
And joking,
Making the
stuff like
joke.
that.
All right. So then Dwight is at his desk.
I thought giggle. What was it? Giggle,
Shushy,
giggle.
shushy.
Sushi, sushi.
So then Dwight is at his desk, and Michael walks over, and this is a victorious moment for Dwight because Michael walks over and says, "Hey, send me the link to your monkey
Like,
sex
I thought
video."
long and hard about this, and I really regret not sending that around.
That's right. I need the link to your monkey sex video. I want to forward that around. I want to forward it like it's hot. And then proceeds to, is that like a Snoop Dogg reference? Forward
Drop
Like
it
It's
like it's
Hot.
hot. Drop it like it's
Yeah,
hot.
probably.
You remember that song?
Okay, there you
We,
go.
we were the cool kids, folks. We were
Yeah,
the cool
well, I
kids.
knew that song.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then so
I don't know if that was, but
that's like
Adam
the
and
beat.
I were the cool kids, guys.
I don't remember it like that.
Oh.
You don't remember the beat from that song? It had like the.
I just
Drop
remember
it like it's
the
hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Okay.
Give us the beat, Rob.
There's somebody out there who knows what I'm talking about.
Sure. Likely story.
When we go off the air, I'm gonna play it for you, and then I'm gonna be
Oh,
vindicated.
is it like dun, 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 dun.
Just like that.
Exactly.
That
Sounds
song
just
is
like
a
Sports
coverall.
You're ridiculous. And Dwight is so excited. This is the victory. This is what we're talking about. It's like he won an award. He's like, I've been accepted into the inner circle of forwards. So
Yes.
there you go. If Michael is the king of forwards, maybe
You can be the prince
the Duke,
or the duke
the Duke of
or
forwards.
the jester.
There you go. Exactly. And then we have a little clip here, but Toby shows up, and it's obvious that there's been some shenanigans going down, and Toby needs to talk with Michael and take care of some business, lay the hammer down. So check this out.
Then old school.
Michael?
Yes, Toby.
I need to talk to you in your office. It'll just take 2 seconds.
Literally 2 seconds. Toby is in HR, which technically means he works for corporate, so he's really not a part of our family.
It's messed
Also,
up.
he's divorced, so he's really not a part of his family.
Duh. I mean, with that logic, that makes sense.
It's solid, right?
Michael's trying to nicely hate Toby in that moment.
Poor Tobes.
Yeah.
So he just basically lets Mike know, hey, there's going to be a corporate wants me to do a refresher on our sexual harassment policy. They're also sending in a lawyer who wants to go over it with you. And Michael is just absolutely not even about this. And after their conversation, Michael and Toby step out into the bullpen, basically, and Toby needs to address the troops and basically lets them know, hey, corporate wants us to go over, spend 5 minutes going over the sexual harassment policy. And when you look around and you see their faces, like everybody's like, no problem.
Sure, why not?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I've been sexually harassed today. Might as well go over it.
Multiple times.
Yep. Love for these folks to hear that.
That's right. And Michael says, hey, there's going to be, like, good luck. There's going to be a mutiny. Like, you are in for it.
They're not-
I
yeah.
actually would have expected that from Creed, maybe.
Oh,
But
Creed or Meredith,
I guess
maybe.
he was fine. I saw him smiling and nodding. So he's like, okay. I don't know what I'm doing here and who I am, but this man's talking and he has pictures.
Yeah, that's right.
He wants to show us a video, so I'm totally down.
Yeah.
But Michael feels like the like sort of their way of life, their comedy way of life, is going to be censored. It's going to be taken away.
Horrible.
And he shares this joke, this joke about a man who goes to see a $5 lady of the night. Yeah, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's such a bad joke.
Yeah.
But he then reminds us, like, this is what's at stake.
This is what's
We would
Jokes.
all hate to lose that.
jokes aside.
Jokes
this is-
about
I mean, do you
serious.
see my cheer outfit?
jokes
That
about
would be a
sexually
huge
transmitted
loss
diseases.
for my team.
Yeah. Who would you cheer for?
You know, what's the opposite of sexual harassment? Appropriateness? Who's going to cheer
Appropriate
for
compliment.
appropriateness?
Appropriate compliments.
That's right. A nice,
So I guess Adam.
a nice
You look
firm
very-
I guess
handshake.
we answered
You look
that.
very professional today.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice chest. What does that fall?
No,
What?
no, that's you've already failed.
That's not
You've already failed. You need to watch that crossing the line video that we're going to talk about. I think the opposite of sexual harassment is a firm handshake and a solid look in the eye.
Yeah.
Like you'd never lose
Unbroken
eye contact.
eye contact.
You like walk backwards watching each other.
There you go.
Respect.
So then Michael's coming out of the elevator and he's like, look, I think this is so interesting. Toby is going to do a 5-minute sexual harassment seminar, and Michael's goal is to go down to the warehouse and find the dirtiest joke he can to share at that seminar.
Because that's where the dirty jokes hang out,
you have
in
to-
the warehouse.
Yeah, you got to give reason for what's at stake.
There you go. You have to make a compelling argument. So he goes down there to try and get the dirtiest joke he can get from the warehouse guys, but they really just basically roast his tight pants and his tiny package.
Yeah. They do good. They do good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so many just flashbacks of high school when they just start.
When you wore your tight pants and they mess with your package.
Oh, and they're just roasting him so hard, and he's just walking away like, "No, that's cool, guys. See you. I'll see you later."
Yeah. Oh, man.
Dang it! But he comes back, and Toby's seminar is underway, and it seems like it's wrapping up. It's going well. And Pam just basically wants to say, "Hey, guys, my mom is coming to visit today. I'm really excited about it." And Kevin,
MILF.
Kevin's immediate response.
So appropriate.
And I love her response. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. It's almost like she's saying thank you for proving my point.
Exactly. But she's basically like, look, guys, just kind of be on your best behavior. Like, just all of this crazy stuff that's going down. Like, my mom's coming. Please don't embarrass me. And the seminar is wrapping up. Toby makes, I think, a funny joke. Let's just treat every day like Pam's mom is coming in. Like, he's trying to be a nice guy. He's trying to be cute. It's great. Good job, Toby. You're the man. Unpopular opinions. Then, as soon as they're getting ready to wrap up, everything has gone well except for the MILF comment by Kevin. Michael walks in with a blow-up doll. And there you go. And so Michael basically, Michael is saying, like, obviously Toby didn't tell you everything. He didn't break it down for you what's at stake here because you all look too happy. And he wants the people to realize that they're not only going to lose their email forwards, but there's probably going to be some other things that are going to be lost too, including something that's near and dear to Stanley. So check out this clip.
Have bad luck.
Give me a break. Stanley, how about that hot picture you have by your desk? Centerfold in the Catholic schoolgirl's outfit. I mean, it is hot, it is sexy, and it turns him on, and I will admit, best part of my morning is staring at it.
Oh,
But what, are we
gosh.
gonna just take it away?
That is my daughter. She goes to Catholic girls' school. I'm taking it down right now.
Run now.
What about office romance?
So, speaking of office romance, Meredith decides to ask some of the difficult questions. What about office romances? And Toby makes it clear it's not a good idea. But
Yeah, it's
just,
not good.
you know,
Make some wise choices, people. And look around. Who are you going to date?
Yeah.
well, and then Phyllis wants to clarify all relationships, including
One night stand.
The one night stand. Who would it have? Okay, take your best guess. Who did Phyllis have a one night stand with?
Okay,
Go.
that's exactly what I was thinking. This is a good topic. Okay.
Would she be thinking about Bob Vance since he works in the same area?
He does?
Bob Vance?
Well, we find
Vance
that
Refrigeration?
Yeah, we find that out later that they share the building. But
Yeah, I
think
guess we
this
have-
is,
yeah.
This is inter-office.
Yeah.
So that's what she's asking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because
don't know,
that's what was asked.
Who? I do want to I do want to talk about or just point out that I love Jim's face in this moment when
Yeah.
she mentions one night stand is so excellent. But that was
That's
the first
exactly what he thought. Who?
thing. Yeah, exactly. The first thing. So we know it's not Jim.
Sure. Or
Yeah.
unless she just outed him and he's like, crap.
And he's like, huh,
and we
shit,
misread
why
that.
would she do
Oh
that?
my gosh! If you go back and watch that clip and look at his face, that could be his reaction.
Yeah. He's like, dang.
Man, we know it's not Michael. So who
Yeah,
do you think?
no.
Who do you think? Who did Phyllis have a one night stand with?
Kevin.
What?
Maybe.
The Kevster.
Creed, except he doesn't remember.
They took it to
So he
court.
doesn't remember.
I mean, I think it's gotta be Creed or Stanley, right?
It wouldn't be Stanley.
Man, they are right across from each other's. But Creed doesn't.
Wait a minute.
Uh,
Phyllis and Stanley sit right across from each other. You know that
Maybe
they're
they play footsies.
yeah. You know they're making jokes. They're flirting every once in a while, being a little cutesy.
Okay, fine. It was Stanley.
Yeah.
That's really her daughter.
Could
it's
be.
a picture of her daughter at his desk.
The plot thickens. The conspiracy runs deep.
Oh,
ladies
yeah,
and
yeah.
We
gentlemen.
were
It's their
probably
daughter.
1,000% wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stanley's like, shut up, Phyllis.
don't talk about that.
There you go. So then Michael, I mean, just continuing on the same thread, Michael rants about how he could have totally slept with coworkers. And then he's like, where's the line? What about Pam? What if Pam was a lesbian? Okay. And she brought her partner in. Is that
And we
crossing
all
the
want
line?
to talk about it.
We don't want to talk about
Well, what if they made out? And then he clarifies, at home.
it. Yeah.
But for some reason he was there and he saw it. I don't know how this works out.
Apparently that's his MO. Look at
His
Packer.
wheels start to spin in
real.
this scenario.
And he's like, what if I told everyone about it? And Pam is mortified.
Yeah.
What would you... Yeah, that's not a comfortable situation to
No.
sit in. No.
So then Toby says that he's lost. He doesn't understand what the point is. And so Michael's like, well, maybe we need to reenact it. So
Okay.
Pam, you'll be girl A. And then I love it. And girl B will be, and it's like, looks at Phyllis, looks at Meredith.
Yeah.
Let's go with the blow up doll.
Yeah. He's like, what's going to be most beneficial for me? Okay, we'll blow up Dolphin.
Oh, it's the worst. So then Michael and the warehouse guys, they're in the conference room. which is this the worst thing that's happened in the conference room so far?
Yeah.
Sure.
Dang it. So they're watching the HR video and that Toby's making them watch. He invites everybody to come and join him. Everybody declines. Good call. And then earlier when Toby was wrapping up his seminar, he said, if you have any questions, come talk to me.
Sure.
So Dwight decides to take him up on that.
He's got some
He's
questions
got
for you.
some big ideas he needs to process.
And I guess
He needs answers.
Big
I guess
questions.
The best way that we can... He has some deep, meaningful questions regarding the female body. Let's just put it that way.
Anatomy.
Yeah.
It was just an anatomy.
You know,
lesson.
good questions, but not for
The workplace.
not for the workplace, not for probably a 30-year-old man.
Yeah,
Questions for a younger person.
sure.
And not for somebody like Toby.
Yeah, Toby's the most awkward person to
Yeah.
ask those questions to.
But bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
You can tell that he's trying to walk him through it.
He's trying to be
Sure.
graceful.
How
He's
do
trying
you
to be
say no?
graceful.
He's trying to talk with him about it.
He
And
does the emotionally intelligent thing to do. He says, "Why don't we get to know each other a little better as friends?" And then maybe does he say he says
No,
something?
Well, no.
I think he's saying, I think he's responding to a question that Dwight must have had about acting on that.
Yes. And he says, maybe if you get to know each other a little bit better, you could ask them for that.
Oh, is that
Yes.
what he's saying?
So I
Yes.
think
Oh, I took it
Dwight...
the
So he's
opposite.
basically asking how it works.
How do I...
And he's like,
get-
well, you got to know them well before you can do
Oh, I
that.
thought he was saying maybe me and you could get to know each other well,
No.
and then we.
It's obvious he
No.
answered all his anatomy
No.
questions, and then the questioning
Yeah,
continued.
it's much worse than you thought, Adam
Yeah.
Jones.
It is
Much
much
more
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Okay. All right.
So then poor Toby's just like, I just feel so bad that the public school system failed him.
Do you guys really believe that he went through the public school system?
No,
though?
that's
No,
the thing. He did
absolutely
not.
no
No,
way.
Dwight Schrute
Of course
did not go
not.
through the.
He got that
He
good.
was his own teacher.
He got that
Yeah.
good farm homeschool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And Mama did not have the heart to go through that kind of
Those types
anatomy.
of things,
So
yeah.
She just told him, go out to the barn and...
wait a minute, Adam is homeschooled.
I was.
Adam
Jones,
what,
you were
what did
homeschooled?
your sex ed look
Yeah.
like?
Whoa. I did not know that.
It was pretty. I'd say it was normal enough. Yeah.
As
Who
normal
was
as it
your
can
sex
be
ed teacher?
with your mom teaching you
Oh
sex
boy,
ed.
that is a good question. But you didn't necessarily do sex ed. You did. It must have been in one. I think health class was
Like
technically
biology
in.
or
Yeah,
something.
biology and health class.
Anatomy.
I mean, yeah, it's just like I don't know, but I guess I don't remember the details of it, but I don't remember being scarring in any
That's
way.
a
particular,
moment
so.
that you sort of
So-
compartmentalized. And
Yeah, maybe
So
maybe my brain
all
forgot
the
it.
questions that Toby was asking, you knew the answer because of your education was thorough.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The public school system did not fail this man.
There you go. It wasn't even public. The private school
He
system.
got that good homeschool.
His mom
Yeah.
didn't fail him, folks.
Yeah, I got it. I got it somehow.
So
He learned it on the streets.
On the streets, like yeah.
that's that good stuff. So the HR video is underway. We get a look at the greatest, like beautifully produced HR video about where is the line.
We need to make an HR video for
I've
our
seen
office.
videos like this.
Oh, it's so the acting is great. But the woman in the video, suddenly Daryl is like, pause the video.
Yeah.
This is the girl from that thing. And then he proceeds to let everybody in the room know that he spent some quality time. Let's put it that way.
Some quality time.
Some good
Sure,
quality
sure.
time with her.
I was gonna shout it out, and then I'm like, gosh, I can't be
Shout
a
it out,
sexual
Andy.
harassment girl.
Let your
I
voice be
banged her.
heard. Banged her.
Michael proceeds to jump up and just point at the TV, calling her a hypocrite. You're such a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's just not handled well.
So as they're making this discovery, Jan and the corporate lawyer are walking in the door of the office,
Perfect timing.
greeted by Pam. And Michael chooses that moment to run out of the conference room to say, hey, everybody, the girl in the HR video that corporates make us watch, Daryl banged her.
Yep. Right then.
And instead of trying to save it, he looks at Jan and says, and he's about 90% sure.
He just needs to make sure all the facts are out there.
Oh, my gosh. So then Packer is back.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Ryan got lost a few times driving him around, but that's what happens. And Michael is in the meeting with Jan and the lawyer, and he's very defensive. he feels like he's being attacked. He feels like they are out to get me, and he wants, in an interview, he wants to make it clear that he doesn't make this stuff up. He just forwards it along.
Yeah.
And he makes it very clear, like, you would not arrest a guy who's just delivering drugs from one guy to another.
Fair.
Sure, why not?
Hey, fair point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Solid
There's
logic.
a half an ounce of logic to that nonsense.
There you go.
There is some logic to it, just doesn't follow through all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't hold up. But that's cool. And then after the meeting that he has with Jan and the lawyer, he decides, you know what? I need to address the troops. I have an announcement to make. So we have a clip here, but Michael decides, I need to make this announcement, and it's a little bit of a sad one. Here we go.
Attention, everyone. Hello. Yes, I just want you to know that this is not my decision, but from here on out, we can no longer be friends. And when we talk about things here, we must only discuss work-associated things. And you can consider this my retirement from comedy.
Oh, dang it.
And in the future, if I want to say something
Broke
funny
Dwight's heart.
or witty or do an impression, I will no longer ever do any of those things.
Ambitious.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that include that's what she said?
Yes.
Wow, that is really hard.
And Jim's
You
official
really think
prank.
you can go all day long?
Michael's face is so
Well,
good.
You always left me satisfied and smiling, so.
Gets the nod
That's
from
what she
Packer.
said.
And I love that he's like, he kissing to the audience and all
Yeah.
that stuff. He's just like, I
Todd
love you.
Packer does give him a little nod of like,
Yeah,
come on.
go for it,
Do it.
friend.
Do
You
it.
It's
got
worth
this.
it. It's
Yep.
totally worth it. I love that he blows the kiss, and he's just like so glad that he pleased the audience.
Yeah.
Very good. So they're back in Michael's office. Obviously, they need to have a little bit more of a meeting because he doesn't necessarily get what they're trying to do here.
Nope.
And he introduces them to his lawyer, Mr. Albini, which you'll probably recognize from the billboards. He's one of those good lawyers.
Oh yeah. One of those guys you see on commercials.
That's right. And I remember when we lived in California, when we'd be driving up one of the major highways, there was always that one dude who was like hugging. It said like Los Abogados, and then it was a guy who was hugging the phone number 222-22222. Have
Yeah.
you ever seen that?
That is true.
Oh.
No,
And
I
he
have
has
not
like a weird
seen-
nose. Like
no.
it looked like somebody punched him in the face and it stayed stuck, like a cartoon character. I never knew what to do with that nose. I'm like, there's got to be a story there. Why isn't that story on the billboard?
Interesting.
There's so many good lawyer billboards, and Mr.
Oh
Albini.
yeah.
In California, especially, you can imagine.
I bet. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So then Jan needs to clarify, Michael, you don't understand. Oh, Mr. O'Malley, the corporate lawyer, he is your lawyer also. He is there to protect you. He's there to protect the company. Like, we're bringing somebody in to let you know, like, we're going to take care of you. And Michael's like, you know what? I'm so used to fighting corporate and being the bad boy. You know, I didn't realize that they're trying to protect me. More money. More money, more problems.
Makes him feel important. And then his head gets a little
bit
bit
bigger.
bigger.
It does give him a little bit of perspective, though. We see a little bit of shift here now with the way he's interacting with.
I think he realizes, oh, we're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
For the first time ever, he realizes that you are corporate, Michael.
Yeah, which is a little bit interesting because there's almost a part of me that wonders if he would look at it as like the whole like diplomatic immunity. Like, wait a minute, I'm protected. I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he could go either way.
Yeah, but he
The bad
takes
boy in Michael.
the honorable.
Bad
yeah.
boy.
So then Pam's mom shows up, surprises Pam. She's so excited.
The imposter. Pam's mom.
Oh, that's true.
That's for another time.
That's true. Yeah. We'll get there. But her first impression of the office is greeting her daughter, having a great moment, and then Michael Scott walks out holding a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
Normal day at the
Hey,
office.
I would be proud if my daughter worked in an office like that. Sure.
I'd be like, look at you.
Yeah.
Getting up in the world, huh?
Look at all that sexual harassment around you.
Yeah.
Good job. Way to go.
Yeah.
So then
I'm
Packers.
shaking my pom-poms, everybody.
She is. It's amazing. She just did the splits. So then Packer has got a group around him. He's telling some jokes. Michael walks in. Packer makes a joke about a guy winning the lottery and kicking his wife out. And you just see Phyllis is brokenhearted. And her and Michael kind of look at each other. And Michael's realizing, like, this is getting a little bit rough,
I
maybe.
crossed the line.
Yeah. And then Jim is walking over to meet Pam's mom. You see him getting the guts ready to go. He walks over there, and then here comes Roy.
This is the Roy I do not like because he's putting on such a
What
show.
Roy do you like?
None.
There you go. But this is probably the worst of the worst.
It's because he's so fake.
This
Yeah.
is sweater vest Roy and
Oh.
like hair
Clean
slick.
cut. Trying to turn on the weird like son-in-law charm.
classic oldies.
The
He does like
hand
he does the hand jive.
I just
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it when people are fake.
He's
and that's
slimy.
What he is
He's
there.
a skeezy
There's
one.
one thing to say Roy is who he is, and there's one thing to say Roy is trying to pretend he's somebody else. And I do
Yeah.
not like that.
Ugh.
No way.
So they're gonna head to dinner soon, but Roy takes off, and then we hear Pam's mom whisper, "Which one is Jim?"
Come on.
So we know Pam's been
Mom.
talking. She's been bragging about Jim. Now
Oh.
Jim, we get a shot of Jim, and it kind of looks like he smiles.
He smirks a little
Does-
bit.
Oh, yeah,
does
he's
Jim
hurt.
hear?
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
he
for
hears
sure.
Okay,
that. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Jim in his moment right here is like, Pam's been talking to me about it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
To him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
That's awesome. So then Packer's still telling this joke about a guy at an Nymphomaniac convention, and makes a rough comment about Phyllis, but it's Kevin who draws the line, connects the dots. And Packer, he's telling a fine joke. It's Kevin really who's out of line, right? At least that's the way that Michael sort of decides to lay the hammer down and set everybody straight. So check out this clip.
Not you. Kevin. Just unwarranted. Hostile work environment, Kevin.
Packer said it.
No, you said it. He pointed. A point is not a say. Look, Kevin, we are a family here. And Phyllis is a valued member of that family, like a grandmother.
I'm the same age as you.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
We're the
I
same
don't know
high
about
school.
that.
Well, I have a late birthday, and usually September is a cutoff point. You know what? You just crossed the line, okay? There's a line, and you went over it, and you must be punished. So go to your corner.
Oh no.
You mean where my desk is?
Yes,
So
to your corner, bro.
basically, get back to work.
Okay. I have a lot of work to do anyway.
Look at Michael trying to do the right thing.
They really got to you, didn't they?
They didn't get to me. I got to them. I am still the same old Michael Scott. New and improved.
Same and new.
You know what? I love Phyllis.
He's just got to show the affection to Phyllis. Some
You know what
support,
else?
really,
Phyllis
I think is what
not
it is.
looking forward to
I
where
think
this
she
is
is
going.
gorgeous. I think she is an incredibly attractive person. Come here. Come here, Chris. Come on.
Michael,
Mwah.
come on. You don't
Oh.
have to worry.
He kisses her.
I'm not worried.
To HR.
You know what? The only thing I am worried about is getting a boner.
Nope.
Good work today, everybody.
Nope.
And then good work today, everybody. Oh my god. It's okay, he's got a lawyer now.
I
He's
don't
fine.
know. I know, for real. I don't know how Phyllis stays sitting there. If somebody said that to me, a reflex might be a punch in the face. I think that's just who I might
If he said
accidentally
that, if
just.
somebody said that line to you.
Yeah. I might just bop him.
Yeah.
Dang. So it's obvious that Michael has learned something by the end of this episode. Maybe he doesn't articulate it the best.
Maybe he doesn't
He's
even
learned
know what it
something.
is, but
Maybe not 100% of it is put into practice, but he has learned something. And he shares some of that wisdom with us at the end. He says basically that this is a family, and all families grow and they change. And at some point, he as upper management, it's not appropriate for the dad to bathe with the kids anymore. You know, there just comes a time where that
Yeah.
changes.
sure.
He says, like Pam, it would not be appropriate for him to take a bath with Pam as much as he would want to.
So there you go. He learned something. No bathing with Pam.
Who writes this stuff? It's so funny.
And then the very last clip, excellent, is just a cut to Pam saying, "He said what?" So
What
there
an
you go.
episode.
Awesome. Yay for sexual harassment.
Go team, go.
I think I'm going to take that clip and I'm just going to cut it and then have that as just something.
Yay
gonna
for
be-
sexual harassment.
Were you ever a cheerleader?
Oh, yeah, for years. From 4th grade all through until I became a coach when I was in college.
A coach? Mm-hmm. Coach what?
I coached cheerleading.
Sexual
high school
harassment. Oh, cheerleading.
Coach what? I coached sexual harassment.
You coach football? Oh, that's so
No,
cool.
what? No, a cheer coach.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Why would your brain switch to football? She was a cheerleader, so she coached football.
Because you said, and then I was a coach, and immediately my mind went to a
Boy.
of a sport.
Ooh.
Oh.
I know. That's yeah. cheerleading isn't a sport.
No, don't retract
Well,
it. I
then
agree with you.
golf isn't a
Hey,
sport.
excuse me. You would not be able to do our PE.
Tiger Woods winning the Masters.
There you go. See, there you go. So let's get some audience reactions. We threw it out there on Instagram asking, hey, what is your favorite moments of this episode? So we got 2. So Saf Pillmore, one of our beloved patrons, said Michael trying to stand up for Phyllis after Packer makes his bad joke. So he didn't. It wasn't a home run, but it was he was trying to do the right thing.
He did his best.
That's right. He did the best that he could do.
Yes.
And then also, out sketching art replied Michael's face when he says "getting a boner" in front of Phyllis.
Oh gosh.
A boner.
Yikes.
Oh, poor Phyllis.
So there you go. That is season 2, episode 2.
And when
Sexual
you see
harassment.
Phyllis, that is what you think.
Hey, Phyllis is the one who's asking about one night stands. So
Okay.
she's no
she
prude.
can handle it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so at the beginning I said this is usually the part of the show where we would talk about a prank that Jim pulled.
Right.
And I said I was going to throw one your way. You guys could shoot it down. Is it a prank? Jim sort of baiting Michael in that moment when Michael's like, "I'm retiring from comedy," and sort of that sounds
what she said?
really hard. Can you go all day long? You always left me
Sure.
smiling and satisfied.
Yeah.
Is it a prank?
I mean, in a sense, I mean, he was intentionally doing something to get a reaction.
Okay.
So I said it's a prank.
Okay, sweet. So then let's break this down. Let's award it some Shroot Bucks. So just real quick, let's take a look at the leaderboard. In 3rd place, episode 6, Hot Girl, Dwight buys a purse, 13 Shroot Bucks. From episode 1, Dwight Staple and Jello, 16 Shroot Bucks. And in 1st place, from episode 4, The Alliance, with
It's
21.
my Dwight in the bucks.
Always.
Can we, let's
I
just,
made it.
if you just.
You just let me set it up.
And in 1st place, with 21 Shroot Bucks.
It's my Dwight in the box.
Thank you. That was
He
good.
tried to say it all
He
seductively.
kind of whispered it.
It's my Dwight in the box.
It's my Dwight in the box.
I'm very uncomfortable right now.
We're sexually harassing your ears, everyone. I apologize. All right. So Dwight buys a purse, 13. Dwight Staple and Jello, 16. Dwight in a box, 21. Jim sets up Michael. Jim baits Michael. I'm trying to find a funny way to say it, but I'm not
Baits
sure.
him.
Yeah, baits him.
So
I give it a 6.
a 6. Okay. We're going to give it a 6. Really?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's a 9.
No.
It's brilliant.
What?
It's quick
Wow.
on. It's quick on his
It's
feet.
quick,
It's
yeah.
hilarious. He's keeping a straight face while
It's
he's doing
bold
it.
because corporate was there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right.
Dang. Adam Jones. What are you trying to
What
do?
are you gonna do, Rob?
I think I'm going to go with a...
7.
I was going to split the difference and I was going to say a 7,
Come
but
on.
I think I'm going to go with
I
a
was hoping we would
6
say it at
also.
the same time.
Oh,
I think I'm going to go with a 6 because I do think it was clever,
It was good.
it's clever.
I liked it.
but it didn't. It wasn't
It didn't-
elaborate. It didn't have the
Oh, I was-
forethought and all the
Sure.
elaborateness to
Yeah.
it, so.
No. Oh, it's so funny.
So okay, so let's see. That's 12, 9. So okay, believe it or not, thanks Adam Jones. You just tied that with Dwight in a box.
Yay! We did it.
So there you go. So Michael or Jim baits Michael for That's What She Said. 21 Shroot Bucks.
Here we go.
Tied for first. Nice. All right. So now this is part of the show where we like to head over to the Dunder Mifflin subreddit, look at some quality content, award him a Dundie, give him some silver. Adam Jones.
Oh yeah.
Take
And
us away.
You know what the best thing was last week when we awarded
Awarded.
silver silver and a Dundie. The user actually got back to me and said, "Oh, I love the podcast. Thank you so much for this." Come on, like just reply back. You know, like come on, get in with us.
That's
this is,
rad.
this is a good thing, and
Yeah.
I love that she was conversing with us.
Yeah, she was excited to hear that we awarded her the Dundie
Yeah.
for, was it Dundie for the blurriest boob?
Blurry's boob, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And she had already had some gold and some silver on her post, but she
Yeah.
still really appreciated us.
That was cool.
Passing that
Yeah.
out to her. So this week's is very related to what is happening right now. What
Relevant.
happened last
Happening
night.
in the world.
Oh baby.
This is from user Aimless27. And I think it's funny and again relatable. It's there's a lot of things mixed together. It is a Simpsons meme.
So
That
check out the show notes so you can see what we're looking at.
Yeah,
There's a
you got to
link
be able
there
to see it.
so
It's
you can
there.
see
You'll
what
be
we're
able
describing.
to click on it. But it's basically Bart Simpson in a bar with The Office over his face.
Whoa.
Wait, sorry, not Bart.
Yeah, you don't watch
I've
a lot
watched
of
a few episodes of The Simpsons, but I never got into it.
Oh, it's
I
Hey,
prefer
fun fact. My dad's name is Homer.
Yes.
Homer. Oh, Bart's the son, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
see.
it's Homer Simpson.
I'm
You
more of
really
like
didn't know Homer's
no.
name?
Oh no, I haven't watched enough. I'm more like South Park or Rick and Morty type
Oh,
stuff. But I never got
was
into The Simpsons.
There you go.
I was never allowed to watch cartoons like that, so I never went
Well,
back
part of
and
it,
like
I
rewatched
was-
them as an adult.
I was never allowed to watch The Simpsons. I watched a lot of SpongeBob growing up though.
No, not even that.
Oh,
I didn't
love
watch a
that.
lot of TV.
Anyways, Homer Simpson in a bar with a bunch of other people. He's got The Office over his face, and then everybody else on their face has Game of Thrones. Probably how a lot of people feel if you're on the outside of it. I had a great Game of Thrones party last night, though, for the
You
premiere.
totally
it
did.
looked like it was fire.
It was fun.
You had 4 packs of the Game of Thrones Oreos?
I had to get those, yeah.
Those are like a hot
Can you
commodity.
bring some of
They
those
are
into
hot
the
commodity.
office? Can I just have one?
I should actually. I have a
By
lot left
one, I
over.
mean
We
one
did not eat
box?
even one pack.
Do it.
So I'll
No
bring some.
way.
Yeah, I'll bring some tomorrow.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
The
beautiful.
office,
For
yeah.
it.
So check out the show notes to see. So just to clarify, if I remember correctly, this is an episode where for some reason Homer is in a lesbian bar. So he's surrounded
So he's
by
the outsider.
women. Yeah.
Oh,
and he's
yes.
sitting alone at the bar. And he's like, there's something different about this place.
The context helps so much because
Yeah.
I have not seen this
No,
episode.
I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize those were all
So
ladies.
he's just the lonely office
There's a
fan
few of them
surrounded
that
by
I
Game of
wouldn't have
Thrones.
guessed. They were ladies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we are going to award Aimless 27 a piece of silver and a Dundie. Thank you for the content. We love this community, and I am never short on content to bring to the show.
That's right. That's right. We love it. All right. And so now we come to the end of the episode. So thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that wherever you get your podcast, you leave us a review and a rating there. It really helps out. And like I said, if you leave us a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. And make sure you tell a friend about the show. Make sure you check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/anofficepod. $3 gets you access to the exclusive content, the after party at Poor Richard's, which we're heading to right now. And we're going to talk about some good medieval times.
Medieval times.
A proud moment of mine. And here's your homework for this week. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. And go watch Season 2, Episode 3, Office Olympics.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be good stuff. And then make sure you come back here next week. And we'll break it down. It'll be some good stuff. So until then, I'm Rob.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Andi.
And this was
Everybody in the Conference Room.
Have a great night.